Here's what every buyer and seller in Montreal needs to know after Q1. Spoiler, our market has been very active. Sales in the greater Montreal area are up 15% and active listings are down 3%. The median price in all three categories was up and some almost hit double-digit increases. In this video, I'll break down the numbers and explain why I think we're seeing this boom. My name is Aguinaga and I'm a real estate broker in Montreal with over 17 years of experience. I've been following the Montreal real estate market since I was 18 years old. And I've been involved in real estate ever since as a broker, investor, and property manager. So after 17 years of breathing real estate all day long, I can say with confidence that I'm prepared to break down this information for you. The Montreal real estate market is off to a hot start in 2025. When looking at total residential sales for Q1 2025, we saw an increase of 15% when compared to the same quarter last year. This is a serious increase and sets the stage for what is sure to be a busy year in the Montreal market. Active listings were down for the first time since Q1 2022. That's 3 years ago. This also lines up with the last quarter before interest rates started going up. I expect to see inventory levels continue to drop in Q2 as buyers are taking advantage of the lower rates. With inventory levels dropping, our market is going deeper into a seller's market. If you've been waiting for the right time to sell, this might be it. In the Montreal Metropolitan area, we saw an increase in the median price across the board when comparing Q1 2025 to Q1 2024. Homes saw an increase of 8% with a median price of $600,000. Condos were up 6% at a median price of $420,000. And finally, multiplexes were up 7% at a median price of $800,000. We're now seeing multiple offer situations in about 40% of the offers that we prepare. I mentioned this during my last market update, and it continues to ring truer at this time. If we continue at this rate, multiple offers will become an everyday occurrence again like we saw during the COVID market. On the island of Montreal, we saw prices climbing steadily when comparing Q1 2025 to Q1 2024. Single-family homes are up 3% with a median price of $765,000. Condos are up 5% with a median price of $477,000. And multiplexes are up 10% with a median price of $860,000. That's staggering. With a decrease of inventory, we've seen days on market start to drop. Homes took an average of 62 days, down 7 days. Condos took an average of 68 days, down 2 days, and multiplexes took an average of 76 days, down 3 days. I also wanted to look at prices compared to the previous quarter to see how prices are reacting to the lower interest rates that we've been seeing. Interestingly, home prices were down 2.5%, condos were up 0.4%, and multiplexes were up 2.4%. That's not a significant shift in either direction for the categories, but it is interesting to see that the median price is down for single-family homes compared to the previous quarter. Laval also saw prices continue to rise when comparing Q1 2025 to Q1 2024. Homes increased by 9% with a median price of $595,000, condos were up 8% with a median price of $410,000, and multiplexes were up 4% with a median price of $835,000. Days on market for Laval were down in 2 categories and up in the final category. Homes on average took 8 days less to sell at 46 days, condos were 5 days faster to sell at 66 days. Finally, multiplexes were slower, which is the opposite of last quarter. They took 8 days longer to sell with an average of 90 days. All 3 categories continue to be in a seller's market in Laval. The South Shore of Montreal saw a pretty significant increase in pricing across the board. Homes increased by 8% with a median price of $606,000. Condos were up 5% with a median price of $395,000. And multiplexes were up 4% with a median price of $709,000. Days on market for the South Shore were down in all 3 property categories. Homes took an average of 49 days, down 3 days. Condos took 51 days, down 1 day. And multiplexes took 72 days, down 5 days. Just like Montreal and Laval, the South Shore is also in a seller's market in all 3 categories. So, now you have all the data. But so what? The data shows that the Montreal real estate market is off to a hot start and is showing no signs of slowing down. The last 2 months have been filled with uncertainty between the tariffs, the US wanting to annex Canada as the 51st state, and the historic stock market swings. Through all of this, a few things are clear. Montreal is still suffering from a lack of supply, and buyers don't seem to be worried about the external policy issues. We've always been a bit insulated from what's going on in the rest of Canada, and this is a great example of it. We received 2 rate cuts during Q1, which definitely helped consumer confidence and the buying power of shoppers. At the same time, we've seen inflation start to climb again for the past few months. As we enter Q2 2025, it's important to keep an eye on rates and inflation in order to keep a pulse on where we think the market will head. After what we saw in 2022, we know that there's no free lunch, and if inflation increases too much, the Bank of Canada will simply raise rates in order to put the brakes on the real estate market. We also have an election coming up at the end of April, which will play a role in the Canadian real estate market. We'll see what impact that has for the rest of us. If you're thinking of buying, selling, or investing in the next 12 months, book a meeting, send me a text, or give me a call. Remember, if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the Montreal real estate market in the comment section down below. If you want to stay ahead of the curve and get the latest market updates, be sure to subscribe. Until next time, thank you so much for watching.